This is the beginning of section 8.5, Annuities, Methods of Saving and Investments. As we build a portfolio of what our worth is for retirement or when you want to stop working and seeing what you have accumulated, it is vital that you comprehend that not all of us can do a one-time saving, that it would necessitate, I should say, some form of yearly or quarterly or monthly deposit to ensure security in our future. It is part of our cash worth. Is volatile, so it depends what form of commitment you've made. It is part of your assets, your financial portfolio. So we haven't talked about a portfolio, but I'll try to include that right now. When you're employed, the employer will check number one is uh, your debt ratio. And we know that as what we're worth. And the word defies me right now. It is credit score. And the second thing they check is your driving record. No-nos are DWIs, drinking while intoxicated, felonies of any type, and outstanding warrants. Check your social media. And what they're looking for is opinions, towards minorities, women, etc. We're a PC world, so pictures of intoxication, pictures that show an interest that is not conducive to what the company represents. So these are some, not all, but these are the main ones they check. And it takes about 2 weeks to fully have somebody look at all of this criteria. So a portfolio of assets uh, is a helpful aspect of your worth. Uh, Assets and liabilities. Liabilities are debt, commitments to funds going out toward some form of ownership, credit cards, those type of things for the normal person. And we're going to start with looking in our portfolio another asset, because the one we did prior on compound interest is an asset category where you have a savings that continually grows. Well, life is more complex than that, and your employers offer you many opportunities to save for the future. And we'll discuss those a little bit later. But for an umbrella of those, payments to for, I should say. It's called annuities. Annuities. That means regular payments into a fund. For a set number of years. All right. Not to be confused with insurance, even though insurance companies are one of the bigger asset developers of this concept of annuities. Okay, so this word annuities, we're talking about 401, 403 plans, as well as uh, this, as well as purchase of mutuals through a company. Now, everything is subject to your employment contract and how well you understand and ask questions of what is available. All of these savings plans, all of these annuities insure a certain amount of percent. Now, in our course, we're going to be consistent as to how much you'll be earning for the period of time. But understand that you must have cash worth to be marketable. You cannot have heavy debts or liens against your future money. You have to have everything in your portfolio that shows you're going to be a good candidate for employment. And those are, we're going to look at annuities. We're going to touch on the market. And the reason I say we're going to just touch is because we just look at the basic structures. Of reporting. It by law they do daily reporting in newspapers or online. All right. So this concept of building a portfolio of worth has distinct options for you, and you must weigh things accordingly. And it's okay. It's not a quick scheme. Your instructor in typing, but a tool to secure the unknown future. You cannot live paycheck to paycheck. Nothing in this world is secure. You can even get uh, thrown out of a government job. Um, Times are very different now. And if you live paycheck to paycheck, then you're spending everything you earn without thinking that in the future something may happen to um, incapacitate you to continue to work. And yes, there are some insurance companies that the companies that you work for have unemployment coverage and whatnot, but that is never a full paycheck. All right. So you should not live paycheck to paycheck. So what needs to happen? Well, we must look at annuities. Oh, I did a shortcut on that one, and that's not going to look good on the paper, is it? Amount. So what we have now is annuities as a deposit of regular amounts. Okay, deposit of regular amounts are called payments. Payments at a set number of periods of years. So then again, we're talking about in periods. In periods. So we're talking semi-annual, annual, monthly, quarterly. Most of the time, if you're employed and you're offered one of these, you would do it monthly or by paycheck. And in that case, if you're paid twice a month, it would be that many entries, so that you would not feel the impact of the amount. So now we're going to look at our calculator. And I typed up what it is. Now, understand that, again, we're going to use our finance. We go to the apps key. I'm going to color it yellow. Apps key, and then we're going to enter under finance, and then enter under Tvm Solver. And then we're going to look at our normal entries that we do. Okay, and I wrote them down here, right? All right, so we're going to talk about that. Again, when I type this up, I don't know, it disappeared. The differences between annuities and compound interest. Are one, the first one we can distinguish. No beginning, deposit. No beginning deposit, uh, like compound interest. Spell that. So in an annuity, present value is zero. In a compound interest, present value is the value. But under PV, we have zero. Now, we did do PV as zero only if we have the future value known. All right. So then, annuities have regular deposits. Whereas the compound have none. All right. So now in annuities, the payment is where the deposit amounts are entered. Okay, that's another difference. And so this gives you an idea of what happens. Now remember, when we get to our apps key, I have the N, which is still the N, little n, periods of payments, times the T, years. We know T is for years. The I% is still the rate earned, okay, and it's without it changing to a decimal. All right, I, and then we have the PV, and again, this is always 0. And then we have our payment. Now, this is the regular deposits made. All right, then the future value is usually what we want. And that would be deposits, all deposits, plus interest earned. All right, and then we have our PY and CY, and that's the number of payments. I'm going to say deposits per year. All right, and then like I said, we'll do a alpha solve on the item. So let's do an example. All right, here we go. The example is structured in a table format, which makes it easy for us to distinguish. $80 is deposited periodically at the end of every 6 months. Okay, so 80 is our payment amount. 6 months means it's semi-annual. So 2, N is 2. And this is our interest rate compounded for 35 years. All right, so let's look at what we have. We have N is 2, T is 35, I% is 3.5%. Deposits, our payments, are 80, and we have It's compounded semi-annual toward the deposit. And we have 35 years. I got that. All right. So at N, it's 2 times 35. Our I percent is that 3.5. 0 on present value. Our payments are 80. And I'm going to put here deposit amount. Now we're going to use payment in another form in another lesson, but it'll all make sense. 0, because that's what we want. And our PY and CY is 2, because it's semi-annual or every 6 months. All right. There's not a whole bunch to say, but he's doing something. So he or she, I should say. So we're going to clear here. We're going to go to our apps key. We're going to do finance, Tvm Solver. And we're going to type over what we have. 2 times the 35 and 3.5. 0 on present, no initial deposit, but we're making payments of 80. We're going to want our future value, so we're going to put 0, and it's a semi-annual deposit. All right, so our future value is alpha enter. And after 35 years, let me get the green. Alpha solve. Solve is above it in green. And we get this value 10, 8, 2, 6, decimal 4, 6, 0, whatever. So we know that it's 2 decimal places. So at the end of 35 years, he won't have a whole bunch, but he has something. $10,826.46. And that is his cash balance at a period of time that he's done it. All right, so now what we want to know is find the interest earned. Okay, so we know interest for annuities involve payments, regular deposits. All right, so we understand that. So let's make a little room for me so I can write. There you go. All right, regular payments. So here we're saying we're doing almost the same thing, but we're adding some caveats. So we're saying I is equal to future value minus the payments made n times a year for t years. All right. So our future value minus our payments of 80 times 2 times 35, which is the cap end that we used. And of course, this looks, we'll see how much interest was made on this annuity. So we're going to get our calculator, and we're going to use our home screen. All right, so we're going to do a second quit to get out of the finance area, and we're going to do the 10,826 and 46 cents See if I have it right, because you know, sometimes the online calculator acts a little funny. And from that, we're going to subtract the 80 times twice a year times 35 years. And let's see if I've got everything right. Okay, so we're going to have interest earned as 522646. All right. So this is how much interest was accrued. Now I've talked for 25 minutes. I know that's a long period of time for you. So I'm gonna stop. I've built up one example, and I hope you'll be listening to me for the rest of the lessons.